I'd like to introduce two folks coming up. Susan Watkins, who is a licensed clinical social worker at the VA Medical Center. She's a transition care management program manager at the medical center. She serves as case manager and point of contact for over 15,000 returning Iraqi Afghanistan vets. She's a lead program manager for Vision 6 in addition to that. Also with her is Ted Thomas, a community engagement specialist for Cardinal Interventions Healthcare, works with communities to promote behavioral health awareness. He's also a North Carolina certified peer support specialist. Ted achieved his bachelor's degree in human services, mental health, and rehabilitation from Thomas Edison State University following a 10-year career in the United States Air Force and 3 years in the Naval Reserves during the Desert Storm conflict. So please welcome Ted and Susan.
He's going to get our slides up for us. I wanted to say thank you for allowing us to come and talk to you all as a group, because there are some people in this room that actually participated in the very first conversations about NC Strive. This room has several of those originators. Jeff's in the back, Flo's there, the other Jeff Smith was there, and we brought more and more people on board to have the conversation. How can we help our veterans succeed in higher academia? I'm a social worker, a clinical social worker. I run the OEFOI program at Durham, and I was seeing our veterans use their GI Bill not to succeed in college, but because they needed funds and they didn't have another employment opportunity. So they were using that to help in their transition. They were not always succeeding, and that really was the crux of why we began dialoguing. We joined together, and I've heard the word collaboration and relationships in here today, and that is exactly what this is, and it is now. This page is, so you see we have our own little box that you can click on the governor's working group. This is now a statewide collaborative. It encompasses as many people as we can bring on board because we're working to help our veterans succeed. So it is North Carolina Strive. It's an acronym because you know we have to have acronyms. And so we are focusing on their success, not just using GI Bill monies. There are over 200 colleges, universities, schools, and certification programs in the state of North Carolina. And we have hundreds of thousands of veterans, and we also have their family using GI Bills. So the initiative started with how do we help our veterans succeed? North Carolina is a veteran-friendly state, and you can just stand there and continue. You're doing fantastic. And so our philosophy was to bring everybody to the table to have this conversation. Go ahead, the next slide. The first conference was actually in this building. It was in 2015, and it was after a lot of hours of planning, and we focused solely on transitions. Transition to the military, transition out of the military, transition to school, transition to a job, and trying to help gear up and employ tactics to prepare our universities to be sensitive to what our veterans are feeling in their environments. What we find, those of us who work with veterans every day, is they are a maturer lot than that is if you compare them to normal 20-year-olds or 24-year-olds. So they're more mature. They're focused on getting their degree. They really don't feel like they fit in at times in campuses. So the campuses that have reached out and kind of wrapped around our veteran population with mentors and other opportunities have been really some of the key stakeholders at our conferences. So the first one we focused here. This was free. But then we also, by bringing more people to the table, we were able to move out, and we had it in Sanford, right across from the community college, our second year. So our numbers have grown every single year. You will see this. But we've still only touched 52 schools. And if we have over 200, we really still need to bring more administrators and faculties, and not just the veterans resource staff at the colleges and campuses, because they are always at our table and wanting to improve and make the campuses veteran-centric. So this picture is, how do you make VA money succeed? That was a conference last year. Voc rehab dollars, GI Bill dollars, what else is out there? How do you partner those monies? That was at Wake Tech. It was a very well-received conference. So we not only focus on suicide prevention, talking about that green zone, making the university safe, making people know who is safe to talk to, helping it not just be an office of disability issue at a campus, but a campus-wide sensitivity. So we really have made some inroads on the campuses. The next slide. This year, we are very fortunate. We have 4 areas that have bought into our concept, our philosophy, and our mission. We have had 4 very hard working groups. I'm the co-chair of the statewide steering committee with Dr. Lee Fang, but we have 4 regional committees, and I'm going to allow Ted to talk about one that he is a chair of down in Charlotte. But as you can see, what we found when we hosted it just here in Raleigh, since the travel dollars are just not there, people couldn't afford to take off from work and travel and spend the night. So now we're in the western part of the state. We're all the way for the first time in the eastern part of the state, and we are getting the local needs and the local flavors at these conferences. So we're really excited, and it's going to be over in April, and we're all going to celebrate, and we're all going to be very happy. So next slide. So if you want to join us, we do want your participation. We want to spread the word. We want to enhance veteran success. This is the link. It's right there on the governor's working group. But we also know that the momentum for veteran awareness and involvement is really at an all-time high right now. With the Situation Room and some of the things that are happening, I think all of that has been birthed out of what has happened in this room. If I remember the very beginning days, it was a group of 10 people. Pretty much the same people would keep coming back. And now you fill a room, and you are from all over the state of North Carolina. With that kind of enthusiasm, we are going to help our veterans, and we are going to help our veterans succeed. We hope they stay in North Carolina. That is one of our focuses, because we are a veteran-friendly state. So I want to turn it over to Ted, because he is one of our chairs, and he came back for a second year. That means we didn't scare him off too much. So, Ted?
Thank you, Susan. I'll just speak through this one. So it's really cool to be here and to share with you today and talk a little bit about reiterating what Susan had said about the different types of programming that we've got at the conferences. It's super exciting to see how this has grown, and for the second year, I can say for our Charlotte conference, we've got a set of 3 different panels in the plenary sessions. And one of the first panel that we've got set up is we've recruited key leadership, business leaders from throughout our community to step up and sit down in our auditorium there at UNC Charlotte and have a heart-to-heart conversation about veterans and the connection between their education and employment. And these are some big-name business leaders in the neighborhood, so I applaud them for coming forward for that. And then we're able, there's 2 more panels that we have. One of the panels is the administrators. So bringing in the college and university administrators to sit down and also from their level have a conversation in front of everybody, moderated conversation about the veterans' experience in and through our college and university system. Awesome exposure for both the educators, the administrators, as well as the veterans and those that are attending supporting veterans. Another panel that we have in the afternoon is the student panel. So now we want to hear from the boots on the ground, so to speak, right? The people that actually have the meat in the game to be attending college, what their experience is, and how maybe based upon that conversation, things can be shaped or reshaped to make for a better experience in higher education. We're also able to have 3 breakout sessions in the morning and 3 in the afternoon. And Susan alluded to a couple of them, and that's the green zone. You know, making sure that we've got people with an overview of what a safe space is. QPR, question, persuade, refer, a very good program to give people skills and tools to get out of that class and confidently ask the question. And then we've got an overview of mental health first aid, the veterans module. And so this is going to be typical throughout each of the conferences. So if you're in this room today or within earshot of me today and you're not signed up for one of these courses or one of these conferences, please do. I think it's a really rewarding experience that you will enjoy and walk away from being better. So thanks.